Sunday Spirit of Gratitude gathering here in Gratitude City. I'm your host, Abraham, and I'm truly honored to be connecting with you all on this day dedicated to reflection and celebration. There's an energy in the air today, like waking up on the right side of the bed. With a joyful feeling, ready to burst forth with positivity. And, just that feeling, it's going to be a good day. The sun is bright. People are smiling. Just woke up, on the right side of the bed, feeling happy, even with life's challenges. Even if they do arise, I'm gonna make it through this for another day, finding the positive sides of things and rejoicing in the pleasure and relaxation we discover throughout the moments. For this is not just another day. This is an opportunity, a sacred invitation to tap into the very source of joy and empowerment that resides within each and every one of us. Feel that energy stirring, that spark of limitless potential waiting to be ignited. Whether the dawn greeted you with a song in your heart or a whisper of a challenge, know this. Here in this moment, we choose our path. We choose to rise above the ordinary, to transcend any limitations, and to step into a realm where gratitude reigns supreme, where possibilities are boundless, and where the power of thankfulness can reshape our very reality. For we are not mere observers of life. We are the architects of our experience. And gratitude is the master key that unlocks the door to a future overflowing with abundance, joy, and purpose. So let us cast off any lingering shadows. Let us breathe in the very essence of hope and inspiration. And let us together embark on this magnificent gathering, ready to embrace the extraordinary and fuel our souls with the potent and transformative power of gratitude. Let the uplifting journey begin. The echo of Gooby's journey, our shared search. Now, as we settle into this reflective space, I want us to think back to the story of Gooby. You remember Gooby, the neurosurgeon we talked about earlier in this week? Here was a guy who seemingly had it all. The years of study, the impressive career, the respect of his peers. By most societal standards, he was a success. But beneath the surface, there was a nagging feeling, an emptiness that achievement couldn't quite fill. He felt a lack of true purpose, and as a result, even the accomplishments he had attained didn't bring him lasting gratitude. Gooby's journey, that search for something more meaningful, even after reaching a certain level of success. I think that resonates with a lot of us, doesn't it? Life often takes us on these winding paths. We strive, we achieve, we tick the boxes that society tells us we should tick. But sometimes, even after all that, there's still a question lingering. Is this it? It's like finally reaching the summit of a mountain, only to realize you brought the wrong sandwich for the view. I'm not sure if I've ever had the wrong sandwich for the view, but that's what our co-writer put there. The good old Gemini. Sometimes, we make it to the point where we're about to look out and see this magnificent view, and we realize that we don't even have the energy to make it to the top, and we only have to walk like another minute or two. Or we realize, the weather's about to change, and if only we had walked 10 minutes sooner, we would have made it up to that summit before the clouds covered up the sun. That feeling of searching, of knowing there's something deeper or more fulfilling out there. Even when things look good on the outside, there's a lot to what makes our heart tick. It's a universal human experience to always have this searching feeling, to know there's something deeper, to know that for each and every mistake, each and every discovery, each and every moment, under every rock, there's something more. And for all we know, even in that shadow of darkness under the rock, there could be something better, like a shimmering piece of gold that we could cash in and go buy a car with. I suppose if we're during the gold rush or just existing in a very lucky moment, finding a space that no one has unturned yet might be a little bit harder than it used to be. But you can still find that cave. We're all in our own way on a quest for something more, something that truly resonates with our inner selves and brings a genuine sense of purpose and ultimately gratitude for the journey itself. So as we reflect today, let's remember Gooby's journey. A story is a reminder that it's okay to keep searching, to keep questioning, and keep striving for that deeper connection and authentic sense of thankfulness, no matter where we're at in life. Wallace D. Waddell's Foundation: Gratitude and Definite Purpose. To help us navigate this research, to help us navigate this search for deeper meaning, I suppose I have done research to do this, but hopefully it's more entertaining and useful for you guys than something you have to spend research on. As we search for deeper meaning and lasting fulfillment, let's turn our attention to the wisdom of Wallace D. Wattles. In his insightful work, The Science of Getting Rich, Wattles lays a powerful foundation, emphasizing the absolutely insparable connection between gratitude and achieving what he calls a definite purpose. Wattles argues that we cannot advance in life, we cannot truly manifest our desires and create the life we envision without a deep and sincere feeling of gratitude for what we already have. He posits that the universe, or the formless substance, as he refers to it, is in a constant state of giving. Our attitude of gratitude is, in essence, our way of aligning ourselves with this natural flow. When we are truly thankful for the blessings we already possess, we open ourselves up to receive even more. It's a fundamental principle, almost a logical necessity. If you aren't appreciative of what you have, Why would the universe see fit to entrust you with more? Like entropy, or having a basket, or a fish in a pond, a lake, or an aquarium. The fish will naturally fit the size of the aquarium. Or if it's in a pond, the fish will grow bigger than it would have naturally if it was in the aquarium. And if the fish is in an ocean, it's going to grow bigger than it would have if it was in the pond or the aquarium or the lake. With the same fundamental, imagine gratitude as a basket and your ability to carry gratitude, your ability to carry your luck, your rewards, your gifts that the universe gives you as being equivalent to your ability to carry gratefulness, a level of respect for what you actually have, to be able to lift that up whenever you've been given the responsibility for and possess that so that the universe doesn't have to take it back over for you. If you aren't appreciative of what you have, why would the universe see fit to entrust you with more? Furthermore, Waddles stresses the importance of having a clear, well-defined purpose. Without a specific goal in mind, our energy and intentions become scattered. Gratitude then acts as a powerful amplifier for what? For that purpose. When we hold a clear vision of what we want to achieve and combine it with a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunities and resources we have to pursue that vision, we create a potent force for manifestation. It's like having a clear destination on a map, your definite purpose, and a full tank of fuel, your gratitude, to get there. Your definite purpose as a map and your full tank of fuel as your gratitude. All about that as our metaphor to success, using gratitude as a tool today. One without the other, though, would be far less effective. You need a map, because even if you have a full tank of gas, you can only get a certain finite distance. And if you end up lost with a finite amount of gas, you still won't make it to your destination. So you've got to have your purpose to go with your gratitude. And then your focus may be much more effective. So, as we reflect today, let's consider both aspects of Waddle's foundation, cultivating a genuine feeling of thankfulness for our present circumstances and clearly defining that purpose that drives us forward. These two elements, when embraced together, form a powerful cornerstone for a life of abundance and deep satisfaction. The echo of Gooby's journey, our shared search. Now, as we settle into this reflective space, I want us to think back to the story of Gooby. Remember Gooby, the neurosurgeon we talked about earlier in this week? Here was a guy who seemingly had it all: the years of study, the impressive career, the respect of his peers. By most societal standards, he was a success. But beneath the surface, there was a nagging feeling, an emptiness that achievement couldn't quite fill. He felt a lack of true purpose, and as a result, even the accomplishments he had attained didn't bring him lasting gratitude. Gooby's journey, that search for something more meaningful, even after reaching a certain level of success, I think that resonates with a lot of us, doesn't it? Life often takes us on these winding paths. We strive, we achieve, we tick the boxes that society tells us we should tick. But sometimes, even after all that, there's still a question lingering. Is this it? It's like finally reaching the summit of a mountain, only to realize you brought the wrong sandwich for the view. I'm not sure if I've ever had the wrong sandwich for the view, but that's what our co-writer put there. The good old Gemini. Sometimes, we make it to the point where we're about to look out and see this magnificent view, and we realize that we don't even have the energy to make it to the top, and we only have to walk like another minute or two. Or we realize, the weather's about to change, and if only we had walked 10 minutes sooner, we would have made it up to that summit before the clouds covered up the sun. That feeling of searching, of knowing there's something deeper or more fulfilling out there. Even when things look good on the outside, there's a lot to what makes our heart tick. It's a universal human experience to always have this searching feeling, to know there's something deeper, to know that for each and every mistake, each and every discovery, each and every moment, under every rock, there's something more. And for all we know, even in that shadow of darkness under the rock, there could be something better, like a shimmering piece of gold that we could cash in and go buy a car with. I suppose if we're during the gold rush or just existing in a very lucky moment, finding a space that no one has unturned yet might be a little bit harder than it used to be, but you can still find that cave. We're all in our own way on a quest for something more, something that truly resonates with our inner selves and brings a genuine sense of purpose and ultimately gratitude for the journey itself. So as we reflect today, let's remember Gooby's journey. A story is a reminder that it's okay to keep searching, to keep questioning, and keep striving for that deeper connection and authentic sense of thankfulness, no matter where we're at in life. The deeper wellspring. Spiritual reflections on gratitude. Now, let's journey a bit deeper into the spiritual dimensions of gratitude, beyond the tangible blessings and the power it holds for manifesting our desires. There's a profound sense in which gratitude connects us to something far greater than ourselves, a wellspring of goodness that underpins all of existence. Think about that feeling of awe you experience when witnessing a breakthrough sunset, or the sense of connection you feel when in nature. Did you know that there are terpenes in the air from the pines? As you breathe in the air when you're in the woods, you're literally breathing in antioxidants and various components that have permeated the air through nature. Some of these aromas are actually antimicrobial and they have benefits that are yet unseen. These moments often evoke a feeling of gratitude. When we're in these tranquil spaces, we discover a feeling of awe, not just for the beauty itself, but for being part of something so magnificent. This is the deeper wellspring of gratitude, a recognition that we are all interconnected, part of a vast and intricate tapestry. We can use gratitude as a tool to unite ourselves with the universe. Gratitude, in a sense, transcends specific religious doctrines because it gives us a action that compels us into servitude. And if we are in a state of servitude providing for others, there are only good outcomes. And when we provide outcomes that are good for others, most often the outcome is then reciprocated or good back for us. Most people aren't going to do a bad thing to someone who does a good thing to them. So there's this universal recognition of the inherent goodness that permeates the universe through the consistent act of gratitude that leads us into servitude. And through this servitude, this revolving door where, as we experience gratefulness from others, it actually heals us. It gives us a more balanced heart rate. It gives us a better breathing cycle, which allows us to be more calm, which allows our body to metabolize in a better level of harmony, which provides health for the body and the mind and helps with things like depression and anxiety and focus. You don't have to take my word for it, though. I'm not a doctor, so if you need medical advice, be sure to seek one out for yourself. But any doctor today admits the power of gratitude is right there in front of our eyes, even if it's an invisible force. That's why we can say that gratitude transcends religious doctrines and cultural borders. Coming together, united, acknowledging gratitude together. This recognition is a universal awareness that we are not isolated entities, but rather participants in a grand, ongoing unfolding. When we tap into this deeper level of gratitude, we move beyond a transactional understanding of thankfulness. I'm grateful for X. I'm grateful for Y. Just these basic scientific methods. We wouldn't experience an ease of gratitude if we just constantly spent our time trying to make lists of thankfulness. That would be very irrational. It's nice to wake up and go to bed with a gratitude journal, but we need this state fundamentally rooted. And we do this with the gift that we have, the free will that we have to appreciate life itself. That as a single cumulative force, us as life, that single tiny, tiny thread that holds us all together, that we know we can set aside all borders and all obstacles, and we can admit that we are life. And that is one definite fact. Speak, to breathe, to think, to touch, to sense. you are life right now, and you're sharing that experience as life with me. And I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful that I have that ability. And as we universally express our gratitude collectively, this is a fundamental feeling that is rooted as a gift given to all of us that are life. And we share this fundamental property together. And together through gratitude, we can cultivate not simply the spirit of gratitude, but we can cultivate a richer state of life, both in health of mind and body, which then, of course, is in spirit itself. This spiritual dimension of gratitude reminds us that even in the face of challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. And realistically, has life and everything in between, with this sentient ability to look around. If you're here listening to this podcast, I'm sure that you can think of something that would make your life worse. And so you always know things could be worse. And so the pessimistic realization that everything could be worse, well, of course, there is a polarity that everything could be better. And that spiritual dimension of gratitude is a reminder of that. That even when we face challenges, there's always something to be thankful for. It's about recognizing that underlying current of goodness and connection that persists, offering us solace and hope. Whether we just crashed our car or lost a leg or a loved one, none of those things are good, and we prioritize them differently by nature. Some of us might care more about losing a leg than losing a loved one. And most of us would admit, if we're lucky, that it would be more rational to care about losing a leg than it would a loved one. But many of us also would admit that it would be hard not to be extremely emotional for losing a leg. And sometimes it's easy to be numb and desensitized about the emotions that we have when we lose a loved one. And so it's worthwhile to have some type of spiritual understanding. If we don't take time to culminate an understanding of the invisible nature of reality, when quantum physics and AI and all these emerging technologies reach a point of no return where we have literally surpassed nature's, uh, we've passed the nature of Murphy's law itself. So how can we have a solace of hope without acknowledging that we are part of something bigger and something inherently good? As life, if we don't perpetuate something that represents life as well, then we must be perpetuating the opposite, right? And what better tool to encourage ourselves to perpetuate what we appreciate as life than to culminate the spirit of gratitude? We don't need a specific culture. We don't need a specific faith. We can culminate gratitude with a force that proves us to be into a better state of being for ourselves and for our surroundings, and encourages others to do the same and to experience the goodness that we flourish with, that we feel when we share gratitude together. To acknowledge that we are part of something bigger, something inherently good. That connection is a profound blessing, worthy of our deepest gratitude. What an honor it is to be here together to share this sanctuary of space here in the Church of Gratitude. So honored by your presence and so grateful that you're here. Gratitude as the fuel for manifestation, igniting our vision. Building on Waddle's wisdom, let's really focus on the dynamic power of gratitude as the very fuel that ignites our vision and propels us towards manifestation. It's not just about passively appreciating what we have, it's about actively using that feeling of thankfulness to energize our dreams and make them a reality. Think of gratitude as a high octane fuel for your aspirations. When you are truly thankful for the potential that lies within you, for the opportunities that are on the horizon, and for the very ability to even dream and set goals, that feeling creates a powerful momentum. It shifts your mindset from one of lack or longing to one of abundance and anticipation. You start to see possibilities where you might have previously seen obstacles. That's one of the greatest things I appreciate about practicing gratitude is the opportunity to discover abundance through anticipation, through the shifting of mindset, through the discovery of possibilities that oftentimes might start as seemingly great obstacles. Yet somehow, if we have the patience to look beyond the challenges that we're facing and we discover solutions, those solutions become not simply methods to overcome the problem in the present, but they become tools that we can share with others to overcome their problems. And it becomes a tool that we can repeat, we can use with repetitive force. But now that we have the wisdom of this tool, we don't need to discover the tool again. We don't need to learn how to use the tool again because we've already discovered how to use that tool. And it's like riding a bike where once we get on that bike and we learn how to balance for the first time, we have now the muscle memory ingrained within us where forever now we can ride that bicycle and keep that balance. And so having that ability to be grateful for something that we did not see before, for something that we did not know how to appreciate before, it allows us to gather an anticipation for abundance that literally might have been invisible prior. And with that, the obstacles that are in front of us sometimes are no longer obstacles whatsoever because we can just walk right around them or hop over top or whatever the solution is, that allows us to go beyond that obstacle. It's like envisioning that incredible future you desire, that project completed, that relationship strengthened, that personal goal achieved, and then feeling a surge of genuine gratitude as if it already happened. But this isn't about wishful thinking. It's about creating a powerful emotional resonance with your vision. The more that we can cultivate things to be grateful for, the more things may arise. I believe that's something that Oprah Winfrey emphasizes, and apparently Dwayne The Rock Johnson brings up from Oprah, actually. Of all things, I didn't realize he was giving shouts out to Oprah. That feeling of gratitude acts as a magnet, attracting the resources, the connections, and the synchronicities that can help you bring that vision into tangible form. So today, let's not just be thankful for what is, but let's also cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the amazing things that are yet to come. Feel that excitement, that anticipation, that inherent thankfulness for the journey ahead. That feeling, my friends, is the spark that ignites your vision and fuels your path to manifestation. Mindful connection, gratitude in a tech imbalanced world. Building on our explanation of inner peace and outer harmony, let's turn our attention back to the role of technology in our lives, specifically how using it with intention can actually free up space for deeper appreciation and gratitude. So, we're actually talking about gratitude in a tech balanced world, but this is a future affirmation. So, we went from admitting that there is some imbalance and we have altered it, realizing that we can have a future gratitude affirmation that even if we're struggling with technology, even if there is a imbalance with technology, that we can reach a state where there is a technical balance in this world. Together we can strive into that. So as we turn our attention back to the role of technology in our lives, specifically how using it with intention can actually free up space, that's what's so interesting then about it is a lot of technology, if we organize our usage of technology appropriately so that we're not putting forth non-essential notifications as priorities ahead of our reality, then actually using technology with intention can free up our space for our time space that we hold as life and give us a better opportunity to express gratitude and whatever else we want, recreational activities, etc. But it's a lot more easy to express gratitude in a recreational state than while we're working or something on something or struggling to overcome a certain challenge. And it's always good then to have that peace of mind where even if we are in the midst of a challenge, that we can somehow express gratitude knowing that that has an outward value, even if inside we barely have a spark of gratitude left. Sometimes it's hard. As we discussed on Friday, our relationship with technology can be a double-edged sword. While it offers incredible benefits, it can also easily consume our time and attention, leaving us feeling disconnected from the present moment and the people around us. Even lately, I have to admit, while working on this podcast, my schedule has changed, and then my ability to talk with others, to communicate with my friends, to express gratitude, um, it's shifted a little bit until I'm repenting or changing, until I'm reorganizing my schedule. I'm unfortunately doing a worse job of sharing gratitude with my friends and family while I'm starting the gratitude podcast because I'm putting so much time into spending gratitude, spending my time to share gratitude with the world and the things I'm learning about gratitude with the whole world, which even that is an example of an irrational behavior. I should be less excited about the production of the podcast and be more mindful of the appreciation, the deeper appreciation that I can free up using this technology, by building out a calendar for these podcasts going out for the entire year. I can actually free up space where my mind is clear as to my whole year ahead, and I can start planning my recreational behavior. I can start planning how I can call my loved ones and say, "Hey, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so thankful for you." And so it's pretty awesome that, you know, we have a Google Calendar that can cloud sync with others. And, you know, if we're lacking in organizational ability, we can just tap into the cloud and use these tools to enhance our lives and really ultimately cultivate more gratitude. And as we do that, it actually can help us feel less disconnected. even though technology oftentimes proves the opposite to us. Like in the midst of making the podcast, there were lots of unknown time constraints. And so, with the unknown time constraints, I've spent lots of times in the rut, lots of unknown moments doing this or that. And the more that I cultivate gratitude and learn about cultivating gratitude and mindfulness and work on this podcast, the more that I actually am getting organized and coming up with a calendar schedule that will allow me to express more gratitude, even if I have an obsessive personality and oftentimes get distracted by my obsessions to the point of focus where unfortunately I have failed in the past oftentimes to share the gratitude that I needed to with loved ones and even sometimes perhaps people who were helping me. And I might not have realized that, or perhaps even now don't necessarily see that sometimes because I'm so committed to my visions with such a force from my heart that it compels me to sometimes assume that of others that they are equally concerned or compassionate about this goal or that when the truth is that I'm the only one who sees things exactly the way that I do. And so the more mindful that I am, then the more I can genuinely cultivate gratitude. And mindfulness is such a huge part of organization and life itself. So learning about gratitude is really awesome because it actually helps me gain further understanding of mindfulness and how people are mindful in social settings and the effects of gratitude, and how we can be mindful in these give and take situations and in various balances or imbalances, how we can use gratitude as a tool that really helps reinforce our relationships and bring us immense joy. Speaking of which, if you're missing a loved one and you haven't talked to them in a while and you're a long way away, that is one of the most brilliant things about technology. One of the balances that it can bring is that, as distracted as technology might be, a heartfelt video call it can bring it can bring a state of ecstasy, reinforcing our gratitude for relationships and bringing us to a greater state of contentment in life. Consider using productivity apps that streamline your work, anything that will help you free up more time to share activities with people that you love and cherish. Even capturing a beautiful moment with your phone and sharing it can be an act of appreciating the beauty in the world and connecting with others through that appreciation. The key here is intention. Instead of passively scrolling through endless feeds or constantly reacting to notifications, we can consciously choose how and when we engage with technology. By being deliberate in our usage, we can prevent it from overwhelming us and instead use it in ways that support our well being, nurture our connections, and allow us to be more present for the moments that evoke gratitude. When technology serves our intentions rather than dictating our attention, it can actually create. When technology serves our intentions rather than dictating our attention or what we stare at, so when technology actually helps us get what we want compared to forcing us to be stuck looking at something, it can actually create more space for us to recognize and appreciate the good in our lives. Embracing a mindful connection with technology allows us to harness its benefits without sacrificing our peace of mind or ability to appreciate the richness of our offline experiences, fostering a deeper sense of gratitude in the process and helping us cultivate a harmonious balance of technology through the practice of gratitude with technology itself. Inner peace, outer harmony, gratitude's role in balance. We've explored the deep spiritual wellspring of gratitude, and now let us bring it back to our everyday experience, looking at how this inner sense of thankfulness can lead to greater harmony and balance in our outer lives. Think about those moments when you feel truly at peace. Often they coincide with a feeling of contentment and appreciation for what is, rather than a longing for what's missing. This inner peace, this sense of being grounded and centered, it's profoundly linked to the practice of gratitude. When we focus our minds on the good that exists, on the blessings we have, it naturally quietens. Did not know quietens was a word. Lovely. It naturally quietens the inner chatter of anxieties and worries. It shifts our perspective from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance. And this shift in perspective is key to finding balance. In our busy lives, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of tasks, responsibilities, and external pressures. This can lead to feelings of being overwhelmed and out of balance. However, when we cultivate a daily practice of gratitude, even amidst the chaos, we create an anchor. Whether we are journaling in our gratitude journal, going onto Reddit and just going to the gratitude community and telling the whole world what we're grateful for, which might even have a greater impact for all that I know. Or sending an email or a text message every time we're thankful for something, letting people know, how they've impacted us and reminding them that we're grateful for this or that so that they then feel the gratitude directly. As we cultivate that daily practice of gratitude, despite the chaos, we create an anchor, a point of inner stillness that helps us navigate the storms of life with more resilience and grace. Taking a few moments each day to acknowledge what we are thankful for, our health, our relationships, our opportunities, can create a sense of inner calm that radiates outwards, helping us to approach our day with more equilibrium and intention. This inner peach, this inner peace, inner peaches, this inner peace nurtured by gratitude doesn't magically eliminate challenges, but it does equip us with a different way of responding to them. I love my inner peaches. They're just so good. Ah. It allows us to approach difficulty with a clearer mind. Yeah, to have an inner peace despite stress, especially if our conscience leads us the wrong way and we make a mistake. Sometimes we feel so guilty and we'll get caught up in that guilt. But, if we can still culminate from somewhere deep down a sense of inner peace, it's a lot easier to repent, or, the word repent, it just means change in Greek. And so, when we make a mistake, we want to be able to change and adapt and become a better person so that we don't continue to make those mistakes. And that's what the word repent actually means. It means to change. And so we choose to repent when we make mistakes. And so as we repent, we gain a greater sense of perspective as we clear our mind and cultivate virtues and principles that are true to the highest nature of self, the highest nature of life, that ultimately leads us to a more harmonious and balanced existence. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, cultivating gratitude for the everyday. Sometimes, in our quest for big, life altering moments to be grateful for, we can overlook the quiet miracles that happen all around us every single day, like waiting for a fireworks display, missing all the sparklers and all the miracles that are just tiny little things that show up on the way, on the journey. This chapter is about training our eyes to see the extraordinary within the ordinary and to cultivate gratitude for those everyday blessings. Think about the simple pleasure of a warm cup of coffee in the morning, or a cup of tea, or hot chocolate, the feeling of fresh air filling your lungs, the sound of birds singing outside your window, a comfortable bed to sleep at night, a shared laugh with a friend. These might seem like small things, almost insignificant, but when you really stop and pay attention, there's a richness and beauty in them that's truly remarkable. This is about shifting our focus from what we might lack or what we're striving for to the abundance that already surrounds us in these everyday moments. Maybe it's the way the sunlight streams through your window in the morning, or the kindness of a stranger, or even the simple functionality of your computer that allows you to create and connect. There are countless opportunities throughout the day to pause, acknowledge, and appreciate these seemingly ordinary things that actually make up the fabric of a good life. Cultivating gratitude for the ordinary isn't about ignoring challenges. It's about recognizing that even amidst the difficulties, there are still countless reasons to be thankful. It's about finding the spark, the light in every day, and letting that appreciation enrich our lives in profound ways. Embrace nurturing gratitude in our relationships. As we journey through life, our relationships often stand as the most cherished treasures we hold. The bonds we share with family, friends, and partners provide us with love, support, and a profound sense of belonging. At the heart of these thriving connections lies the power of gratitude. Think about how simple a thank you can transform an interaction, how acknowledging someone's effort or kindness can strengthen the bond you share. Expressing gratitude within our relationships isn't just about good manners. It's a fundamental way of showing appreciation and reinforcing the value we place on those individuals. It's easy to sometimes take our loved ones for granted, to overlook the countless ways they enrich our lives. But consciously cultivating gratitude for their presence, their support, their unique qualities, can deepen our connection and foster a more loving and understanding environment. This could be as simple as expressing thanks for a comforting word during a difficult time, acknowledging a thoughtful gesture, or simply appreciating their presence in our lives. Taking the time to express our gratitude to those we hold dear isn't just beneficial for them, it also enriches our lives immeasurably. It shifts our focus from what we might lack to the abundance of love and support we already have, strengthening the very foundation of our happiness and well-being. Carrying the light forward. Gratitude as our guide for the week ahead. As our time together today draws to a close, I want to encourage you to carry the spirit of gratitude forward with you into the week ahead. Let the reflections and insights we've shared not just remain with us today, but act as a guiding light in our daily activities and even amidst the challenges we might face. Think about how you can consciously bring an attitude of thankfulness into your work, your interactions with others, and your personal pursuits. Even in tasks that might seem mundane or difficult, you can you find something to appreciate? Perhaps it's the opportunity to learn and grow, the chance to contribute your unique skills, or the satisfaction of overcoming an obstacle. Let gratitude be your compass as you navigate the week. When you encounter difficulties, try to find even small things to be grateful for. This can shift your perspective and help you approach challenges with even more resilience and optimism. When you experience moments of joy or success, take the time to savor them and express your gratitude, amplifying those positive feelings. This week, let's make a conscious effort to infuse our days with gratitude. Let it be the lens through which we see the world, guiding our actions, shaping our attitudes. As the spring comes forth and we await summer and the days begin to get longer and warmer, and the birds chirp and the flowers start to spring forth, at least starting to bud already out here in the west, guiding our actions through which the way that we see the world with our own lens, shaping our attitudes, and ultimately leading us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful experience. As we cultivate and infuse our experiences with gratitude, let us carry this light of gratitude forward and watch how it transforms not only our own life, but also the world around us. Collective tapestry, the power of shared gratitude. There's something truly special about coming together as a community to acknowledge and express gratitude. When we share our feelings of thankfulness, it creates a kind of collective tapestry, a vibrant and interconnected web of positivity that amplifies the good in our lives and the world around us. Think about times you've been in a group where gratitude was expressed openly. Perhaps it was at a holiday gathering, a community event, or even in an online forum, like the Reddit Gratitude Forum. Did you notice how that shared appreciation created a sense of warmth, connection, and upliftment? When we hear what others are grateful for, it can often open our own eyes to blessings we might have overlooked. It reminds us that we were not alone in experiencing the good in life, and that there is a shared human capacity for recognizing and valuing the positive. This collective expression of gratitude can also be a powerful force for good in the world. When we focus our shared attention on the things we appreciate, it can shift the overall energy and create a more optimistic and hopeful outlook. It reminds us that even amidst challenges, there is much more to be thankful for, and that by acknowledging this together, we can build a stronger and more resilient community. Today, as we gather in this virtual space, let's take a moment to recognize the power of our shared gratitude. By acknowledging the good together, we strengthen our connection to one another and contribute to a more positive and appreciative world. Now that we've had some time to firsthand go through the Church of Gratitude experience here on this Sunday, together cultivating a deeper sense of spirituality through the awareness that gratitude is an invisible force. And we've taken the time to recognize how that relates to cultivating a healthy mind and body, relationship with friends and family, and even in business. After our guided meditation, there are a lot of things that we can take away from this. And I'd like to review some of the material that we shared earlier in the week to give us a chance to reflect and build and bring this cultivation of gratitude that we're sharing together into our lives even more. First, with a reminder of the story of Gooby. I guess we didn't really go into much detail here today. Gooby has a video out on YouTube that's got around 16 million views or so, and he's a neuroscientist, a surgeon who dedicated decades. He dedicated decades of his life to try to do something good, and he realized that it just wasn't good enough to satisfy his own hunger, to fulfill his own heart, to make him happy and feel proud of himself, despite the factor that he had a wife and a successful career. He realized that by abiding to the Hippocratic oath that he had now went against his own word, because he was not actually healing people the way that he had intended when he became a doctor and began his schooling. And so his solemn promise to help and heal had been broken, because if you become a neurosurgeon, you just start with back surgery for the most part, and you realize that that actually doesn't cure most people of anything but symptoms. And realistically, over time, those symptoms resurface, and oftentimes the results of the surgery lead to something even worse. And so, having fulfilled his objective to become a doctor, he had still remained with the feeling of unfulfillment at his core. And he made a courageous decision, and with his wife's support, he went and he traveled into the mountains. And in the mountains, he reflected. In the mountains, he reflected on what it is that's actually good. He left the sterile environment to the vastness and solitude of the mountains, surrounded by nature's grandeur. He began to ponder the questions of life, of purpose, and ultimately what truly mattered. Now, this sense, this quest for meaning, this yearning for a sense of purpose, this is a preface to the problems that we share. and the yearning for a sense of purpose that fuels genuine gratitude. This quest for meaning, once we find it, easily yields ample abundance of gratitude for all in all the ways that it enriches our life, whatever it is. But we need that sense of fulfillment for whatever it is that we choose to do. And if we set out and embark to do something that's truly going to benefit the world, it's going to oftentimes take decades, and we might make a lot of mistakes. Or in Gooby's case, we might choose a career path and discover that our philosophy itself must change, or our cultivation, our very focus must change into what would make us happy and what would make us feel fulfilled, what would truly make us thankful for the opportunity to exist with and without, or with and within that experience. Which brings us then to a concept we briefly touched on this week, the concept of future gratefulness, something that was a perspective championed by the insightful Wallace D. Wattles way back in the day, over 100 years ago now. Wattles suggested that by focusing our minds on what we will be truly grateful for in the future, the impact we'll make, the person we'll become, we can actually cultivate a sense of purpose and drive in the present that leads to profound fulfillment. Gooby in his mountain retreat began to tap into this by envisioning a future where he was genuinely making a difference, where his actions were aligned with a deeper calling. He started to rediscover a sense of direction and a burgeoning feeling of gratitude for the very possibility of the future. There's so many ways that we can use gratitude to align to align our future sense of existence, or our future existence itself, through by using it as a catalyst of what we know that we would be thankful for as we attained this or that. And once we do, then if we truly are capable of embracing that experience with the full force of gratitude, oftentimes we'll experience the richness continue in loops, because the strength of gratitude has such a significant effect on us today. Which leads me to the diversity of gratitude, the all encompassing, non denominational church of gratitude as a sanctuary, as an ideal, and what we can represent here together in this community. So now, for anyone who is already bored, we are switching here now to a guided meditation. And so you can either watch this separately, or you can continue here with us now and join us for our guided meditation. Anchoring in gratitude. And now, let's take a few moments to gently guide our minds and bodies into a state of quiet reflection and gratitude. Finding a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down, you can gently close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs completely, and slowly exhale, releasing any tension you may be holding. Again, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, thinking about something you're grateful for. Inhale one more time, breathing in, exhale. Now bring attention to your heart space. Imagine a gentle warm light embracing from within your chest. This light represents the feeling of gratitude. Think about over the past week, allow moments of kindness, connection, and even the small blessings to surface in your awareness. Perhaps it was a kind word from a friend, a moment of beauty in nature, or a sense of accomplishment in your work. Acknowledge these moments and allow a feeling of thankfulness to fill your heart. Now expand your awareness to the present moment. What are you grateful for right now? Perhaps it's the comfort of where you are, the ability to listen to these words, or simply the gift of this breath. Take a moment to appreciate these present things. You can pause and take as much time as you would like and repeat this not just weekly, but daily or even several times a day. Sunrise, noon, sunset, and even what is referred to as the God hour is midnight. If you're up during that time and you want to do a gratitude meditation, it certainly couldn't hurt. Now let's gently turn our thoughts towards the future. Imagine the week ahead and envision yourself approaching your days with a sense of gratitude, recognizing opportunities for growth, connection, and joy, feeling a sense of thankfulness for the potential that lies before you, knowing that this feeling of gratitude is always within you, a wellspring of positivity you can return to at any time. As we gently bring our meditation to a close, carry this sense of thankfulness with you throughout your day and into the week ahead. When you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room. You can wiggle your fingers and toes and slowly open your eyes if they were closed. Carry the peace and gratitude you've cultivated with you. The heart's embrace, nurturing gratitude in our relationships. I wonder about how we can be all encompassing with the spirit of gratitude in a non denominational community. And I remember India, southern India in particular, and even a certain space, a land of enduring harmony. It's pretty hard to believe how old one of the ancient cities truly is there. To illustrate the point about the potential for diverse beliefs to coexist peacefully, I want to turn our attention to India, where oftentimes we forget, but although Western culture in America considers themselves to have invented democracy, the Hindu culture has accepted freedom of religion for 15,000 years. In the city of Kashi, also known as Varanasi, it stands as one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on our planet. It's revered as an abode for countless deities. Sadhguru emphasizes in a documentary that it is the land of 33 million gods. He cites that they apparently got so out of hand that God had to visit them in 8 different bodies throughout the millennia. And there really are some interesting stories that they only call poetry, yet somehow, for instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, these stories go back with a word of mouth lineage that spans back more than 10,000 years. Older than Greece, older than Rome, older than Egypt, and the freedom of religion has stood here since before the coming of Christ and the time that we zeroed out the time on the planet and apparently moved from what had been documented somehow into this Old Testament ideology and then a New Testament ideology. Yet somehow in southern India, because no one had ever attacked outside of their boundaries, ever, not only in their lifetimes, but in centuries, in millennia, they were able to keep the fortitude of their existence. And when they did, they allowed each other to create infinitely to the point where they individually came up with a name for God in at least 33 million tongues, to the point where they wrote down all sorts of ideologies that later would be construed into a vast array of information that can even be found in fragments in various scriptural texts throughout cultures all over the world, and oftentimes shared in such a way that it is fascinating because we're talking different cultures sharing parallel stories that exist with different languages and seemingly only coming from a peoples across the world that then chose not to attack outside of their borders. And then to imagine that such a place could coexist where we could flourish, where we could have a diverse space of thought, no matter what traditions exist. And we know this with various examples for this country because in India, it just so happens that Buddha traveled and performed his first teachings in India, and in particularly in the particular location of Varanasi. And it is said that Many walks of life had their enlightened companions from their culture travel as wise men to this territory and throughout the rivers in this ancient land, the Ganges River. From the early presence of various indigenous traditions to the arrival of integration of Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, and many others, India has consistently demonstrated a capacity to embrace a multitude of spiritual perspectives. The idea of perhaps starting the Church of Gratitude in India at one of these sites where there exist temples for all beliefs, where anyone could declare their highest state of being and build a shrine as tall as they could in the name of whatever they so chose, to the point where there still remains churches for all of these beliefs going back to prior to the coming of Christ and even during Christ, where Christianity had temples built and then Islamic temples had been built there, and everything in between, all of the belief systems that we have co-inhabited with across the world have somehow had temples established in southern India. And so if we wonder if it's possible to cultivate a belief system, to cultivate a state of goodness, to share beliefs and to continue that without some type of erosion, even if we see that decay in and out throughout various cultures and various countries, we can certainly know that it's actually possible in certain places, such as southern India, where they have kept these temples intact for millennia after millennia. Come home to gratitude. And so, as we reach the culmination of our spirituality with gratitude here in the Church of Gratitude today, I extend a heartfelt invitation to each and every one of you. Come home to gratitude. Embrace this powerful and universal force as a guiding principle in your life. Let it be the lens through which you view the world, fostering personal peace and contributing to a greater sense of harmony on our planet. Whether your avatar, your highest self, whether you have a spiritual self, a religion, whatever your beliefs, you can use gratitude as a tool to cultivate a spirit of goodness and ensure that you're blooming within and without your belief system with full fruition in a wealth of fortitude because of the great benefits that gratitude provides. We can coexist in a non-denominational sanctuary together, built on the simple yet profound truth that appreciation for the good in life can transform us individually and collectively. I am deeply grateful for the incredible growth and engagement we continue to see. Almost 100 people new joining every hour. Almost 200 subscribers. Almost 200 subscribers now are part of the Church of Gratitude, the newest member of our podcast family. You can visit us at www.churchofgratitude.org, and you can visit our companion website at gratitude.city, www.gratitude.city. You can see all of our community events to come, and as we expand our reach of Gratitude City out to the world as a community as a whole, city by city, state by state, community by community, as we discover what people are already grateful for, and we personally cultivate that and express that, what we're sincerely grateful for together. We discover this unwavering support for family and friends that continues to bloom for each and every one of us. So for me, what a wonderful opportunity. So thankful for each and every one of you who tune in and participate, and for the opportunities provided, like these platforms, Reddit, YouTube, X, the tools that enable our connection, and everything in between. I want to place the seed that we can build anticipation for the future, that the Church of Gratitude can grow, and that we can go from a virtual community to something that is established throughout the entire world, and not just simply have over 100,000 people in Reddit, or 200 people on one podcast and 100 people on another and 66 on another, you know, but we can share this vision to create opportunities for a deeper connection and shared experience with the entire community that sees the value of gratitude and how we can cultivate that. I'm really excited for what our future holds, even if we're just at a state of infancy somehow. So many people, even after a year, it still feels like every day is new. I'm just learning so much as I foster a spirit of gratitude, and I'm so thankful for the unifying power of gratitude. Thank you for joining me today on the exploration of the spirit of gratitude. May you carry the force of gratitude with you throughout your week, and always remember the profound impact of coming home to gratitude. A quick but important reminder: the information shared on the Gratitude City podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical or psychological advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional for any health concerns or before making any decisions related to your health or treatment. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the Church of Gratitude again soon. Thanks for being here.